Okay, so in the previous session, we have seen how the data annotations will work, what is the importance of data annotation, and what is its implementation, where we will use it, uh, and even we have seen few important data annotations, and how they will restrict our requests with invalid data. So now we are going to see how to use how to create our own custom valid annotation. So these are all predefined data validations, the required validation, max length, the regular expression, email address, URL, all are predefined. .NET defined them in their libraries and we are using them in our code. So the namespace is system.component.data annotations. And if you go to your dependencies framework or the packages, I think they will system.component model somewhere it will be there. Framework system, right? System.component model somewhere you will have it here. System dot okay. So this is the package. Inbuilt it will come with your .NET Core app. So you created a .NET Core app and this DLL it will be by default of this .NET Core app package, and that's why you are able to see this data annotations. So now how to create our own custom annotations. How to create our own custom annotations and what is the need for our own custom annotations. So these predefined data annotations will have some restrictions or will have some limited limited scope. So required means it's straightforward. When you specify required, you have to provide the data, otherwise it will not allow you to move forward. If you don't, when you specify required, it will not, the request will not move forward if you don't provide name. It's very straightforward. And when you say regular expression, it blindly it will implement this format. When you say email address, it will follow the format. And the range, all the predefined data annotations will have a specific or a limited or few number of scenarios. They cannot match every scenario. So example, if the person age is more than 18, then phone number is mandatory. How can I check that? If the person age is more than uh, 18 years, then the phone number should be mandatory. So can I specify any required, can I specify any condition in the required? I cannot do that. Like if something required else not. Can I specify? I cannot do this because this is not a programming. It's a attribute. So how can I do this specific validation? Any idea? So most of the most of the modern technologies, they are open and they are open for extension. So what does it mean? So they allow to create your own item. In this case, you can create your own custom data annotation. So how we are going to do that? So before looking at how we are going to do that, first we will analyze what is the existing pattern. So the same thing we will implement in the custom annotation. So let's look at this required. Go to the definition. So basically, if you see, understanding this will help you to implement your own custom annotation easily. So here you are using required, right? So what is the class name here? So required attribute. So that means you can check regular expression also. Go here. So this is a regular expression attribute. That means all the data annotation classes, they are classes only. Everything in .NET is a class. Everything in C# is a class. Whether you take it as a data annotation, whether you take it as a exception filter, everything will be a class. So your data annotation, predefined data annotation, is prefixed with an attribute keyword. Look at here, regular expression attribute, required attribute. And how you are using? You are only using the, when you are using, you are avoiding, you are not using the attribute. But actually the class name for this regular expression is regular expression attribute. Okay. So, and this is inheriting from validation attribute. So if you want to understand what is inheritance, what is parent and child relation classes and everything, so there are couple of videos on C#. You can go through them. At least you will find 2 to 3 videos on inheritance and override, all those concepts. So you can watch them and let me know if you have any questions. But we are going to use them here. So your data annotation class is deriving from validation attribute class. This is again a predefined class in the .NET. Okay, and there are few properties it has. So this is regular expression. We will see the required attribute, which is very simple. So it has a constructor and it has few methods, and there is a method, and this method is important. Public override bool is valid. So even this will have this public override bool is valid. So this is valid is a method from validation attribute class, so which is deriving from the regular expression or required field annotation. So by looking at this, you should be able to understand how you are going to do this. So you can have a class which will inherit from validation attribute class, and as part of that, this is valid method you are going to um, define your own. So this is valid method will have the logic. This is valid method will have the logic, and um, it will, based on this logic, it will throw the error message. Okay, so now let's create your own custom annotation. So go here. So for simplify, where in the view model, right? So in the view model, yeah. So in the view model, I'm going to create a new, in the domain, I'm going to create a new class, add new item, but I don't know whether I can use it here or not. So I'll say custom email, mobile required, I'll just say custom validation attrib- attribute. Okay, so is a spelling correct? ATTRABUTE. Okay, so I'll make this as a public class and I'll inherit this class from validation attribute. So here, so the moment when you do that, so here you can have the constructor. Okay, then public, you have to override the method, override. So let's see whether it will give any. Okay, it's not giving. So override bool is valid, and its take object as a value. Okay, so that is nothing but date of birth you have to pass. So date time, date equal to value as date time. Okay, otherwise we can do like this. Okay, if date dot add years, this is date of birth actually, DOB, if DOB add years 18, right? 18 greater than or equal to date time dot now, then if I add 18 years to the date of birth, and if the date of birth is greater than or equal to today's date, date time dot now will give today's date, then it's evident that he is having more than 18 years. So in that case, okay, so here basically it's so here we need to, so this object value will uh, so basically this object value you will get uh, whatever the phone number, like when I say uh, required of name, so this will pass this name. So here in the object you'll get the value of the name. So if I make uh, custom validation on this mobile number, only this mobile number will be passed. But how can I access this property here in the custom attribute? So So minimum length. Okay, I can do. Okay, so here I can create a public date time date time dob. Okay, so this get set. So I can access this date of birth here. Okay, yeah, no need to convert this. If date of birth dot add years of greater than then, and if ampersand if value not equal to null, then return true or else return false. Okay, so what is this doing? It is taking a parameter called date of birth, okay, and you will pass this date of birth as part of your data annotation, and then here I am using this in the logic. If the date of birth is plus add years is greater than 18, and which is matching with your datetime dot now, which is greater than or equal to datetime dot now, then it will check the mobile number, and if it is not null, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. Okay, so let's try this. So you can remove all of this. Okay, and so let's see whether you can access this in the model. Where is that mobile number? So what is that? Custom validation, and go to the definition. Yes, you are. And this custom validation, it dob dob equal to what is that? Dob. Okay, error message. Please enter mobile number. It's throwing some exception. Say this dot. Okay, this is not coming. Me, no, this only. DOB. Patient information. View model dot. No. Me dot. Okay, I'll pass just date, time. I'll check whether this works or not. Okay, this DOB itself is not a valid named attribute. Why it's not a valid named attribute? This is only giving public date time DOB. It's taking property DOB dot why it is not taking. So just check for regular expression how that is doing. So this is match timed out pattern. So string syntax pattern, uh, format message. Okay, so where these regex have been defined, or the first parameter has been defined. So pattern, but where is this pattern? I'm trying to understand how this has been okay. Yeah. String pattern. Okay. Oh, okay. So, okay. If you see this pattern, you are taking into, okay, here you have to define in the date, time, date of birth. Okay. That will be passed. And then the date of birth you are assigning to this. Now go back and check this. Okay, now DOB is coming as a valid. Okay, but here passing, please enter valid mobile number. So here again passing the data date time dot. Now I'll check. Okay, what is this saying? You have to close this. Still it's throwing some error. There is no argument given correspondence that date of birth. Okay, is that date of birth I need to pass? Date of, yeah, okay. So date of birth, it's a column, okay, not equal to, then DOB. No, I'm trying to access the date of birth from here. Preview changes and make apply changes. No. Okay, so what I'll do, date time, as of now I'll just do the hard coding value. So why is throwing date of birth has type date time, which is not valid attribute parameter of type. So what is the type? It's date time. It's a date time. I'm passing date time dot now dot add days of 2. So why it is now throwing an error? So let's redefine one more time. Custom validation. Okay. So then date of birth, date time dot now, comma, error message, please enter mobile number. Remove valid and see why it is throwing error. Attribute constructor parameter has type datetime, which is not a valid attribute. Oh, it's not a valid attribute parameter type. Why? Click on this. Okay, let's go here and change it to string. Okay, and convert this into date date time. Preview changes. It should be date time only, but it's not allowing me to do this. So it's a public date time. 03/05/2017. Show potential fixes. What is this? Okay, just a space it's asking. Okay, we'll give, but it's not an issue. Cannot convert string to date time. Convert dot to date time. No, still it is not taking. Attribute constructor parameter date of birth has type date time, which is not valid. Okay, go here and make it as a nullable and see. Yeah, but here no, it's not allowing. Oh, why? Okay, let's change our business logic. Okay, say string bool is major. Okay, and this one bool is major. Just rename it. We'll come to that, but we'll go step by step. So there is no, this one is major. Is major B. Okay, if E is major, then and ampersandle and value equal to null, then it should be. So come here, is major, just change it to true. Okay, so there is some issue with taking the parameter date time. I'll revisit and I'll fix that one. So let's see whether it is working or not. So first we will see whether it's working or not. Then we will see what we have done. Okay. So come here. Just we'll send this. Okay. Please enter. Okay. We'll provide valid email ID. And we'll rectify all of the other issues. And we'll put a breakpoint here. It should come here. I'll remove this one also. Okay, it came to this is valid method. Okay, and is major, yes, true, and this is going to validate. Okay, and return true because we have a value. Okay, and let's say drag into false, and it will return false, and you will see this error. Okay, so if I don't give the mobile number, and what will happen? So is measure equal to true, so value equal to empty, so then it, so is measure and value, okay, the condition is wrong actually. So this is true, and if this is true, I'm returning true, which is not valid. So if value equal to, yeah, correct only, right? Ampersand tail value, oh, I did not convert that into string. Value dot to string not equal to empty, or there is a better way, string dot is null or empty value, value dot to string. So if this string dot is null or empty will verify whether that is null or empty. So there is a difference. Null means null value, value equal to null. Empty means it's a empty quotations. So this condition will check both is null or empty. So if it is a measure and if it is null or empty, then I'll say false, otherwise it will be true. So let's run this validation. Okay. So if you are not entering any mobile number, then it's throwing error. If you enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so then there is a mobile number, but immediately the invalid mobile number. There are multiple um, validations, so that is popping up. Okay, so first of all, it is not taking a date time. I'll see why it is not taking. And even though if it is taking date time, I need to see how to pass this existing value, the date of birth. Okay, I'll see that, and I'll show the sample in the next session. But come here, what we have done. So I created a class called custom valid attribute, and which will inherit from the validation attribute. I can define the parameters, and these I can define multiple parameters, and those parameters you can pass it when you are using the uh, annotation. So here custom valid annotation is measure I am passing, and error message is a default one. Okay, so and this is the isValid method is the one where you will implement your own logic. So based on the different parameters, you will check, and you will say it is null or not null, and so finally this will return true or false. If this will return true, that means there are no errors in your model, and if it returns false, there will be some errors, and it's going to display this message. And remember this particular check is for only this mobile number wherever you are using this custom validation attribute. So try this. There is no dependency on database, there is no dependency on anything. So it's a pure independent assignment. So create your own custom validation attribute and use it with your model or view model, and you should see some errors. And if none of the conditions match, then it should pass. If I enter mobile number, it will not throwing any exception. If I don't enter mobile number, it's throwing exception. This validation. Okay. So any questions? And is it clear? Or do you have any questions? I'll look into the issues why it is not taking date time and also how to pass the value from the model directly. Okay. Okay then. Yep. Yep. Thank you. Bye.